it's a vibe that I get. I mean, not a vibe. It's a gut feeling.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, we're live. I see we're being live streamed, so.
all right. Well, share it to the groups, obviously.
Oh, I think he's
If
here.
anybody has
He's
to
here.
cut out,
Yeah,
He's
okay,
here.
great.
good.
He's here.
Okay.
While that's happening, I'm going to share on our end.
While that's happening, I'm going to.
Share to group. Spring Nuts. Post. Sharing to.
There you are.
There he
What's
is.
up, Spring Nuts?
What's
Welcome.
up?
Right,
Well,
so
who knows?
who's who there?
Okay,
'Cause
so the blue would be Howie. I'm
nice.
nicking it out today. Um, and I'm going to introduce you to Ryan Hilligoss. He is our moderator and he runs the show for us. He's the one who's going to take us through this whole thing. You see? Oh, yeah, look at you.
All right, cool.
There we go.
Very nice. And Stan Goldstein, I think you guys met in the past. You guys know each other. So it's to be the four of us. The way it's gonna work. First of all, thank you, Ron, for doing this with us.
Sure.
That's the main thing. Okay, we really want to get your stuff out there, and you've been a gentleman about this whole thing. So thank you so much. Um, we we do this through the Zoom as we record it, so we'll put it on our YouTube channel and we'll share it with you when it's done. We also stream it live to Facebook to our group at the same time. So I'll watch the questions, whatever. You won't see it over there, but I'll watch the questions. Ryan will run the interview and the whole thing, and Stan will chime in with some questions. So will I at one point, but it's all cool. Like we want to talk about everything, your journey. This is about you. It's all about you. And then obviously there's a Bruce factor in there somewhere. We like to, we'll ask you some, questions and, you'll tell us, all the insights that, that you signed the NDA, that you can't break.
I've actually I never signed one.
Really?
Wow,
Oh,
wow, look at you.
oh.
Good
Yeah.
for you. So, okay, everything's on the table, Ryan. Got a green light for everything.
Okay. And we are live now, just so you know. We are live.
Okay.
So people are.
Hey.
Yes.
All right,
So
I'm in the house.
you're in the Spring Night Asylum as we speak, and all our peeps are there. I'm gonna give an introduction in 1 second. I just want to get myself set up now that we're going live. So give me 1 sec.
Ron, we were shocked a few weeks ago. We interviewed Davey Sanchez, and he just dropped out of the middle of the blue that he's worked on 3 albums with Bruce. And I'm sure that's not something that he wants people out there saying, but that's what Davey said.
What did he say?
He said that he had worked on 3 albums with
Oh,
Bruce that were in the can, quote
Yeah.
unquote.
I think Bruce has said that he had some music finished. I
Yeah.
don't know. What the secrecy is. It's probably like it's a little old school, but nowadays everybody's trying their best to promote themselves, even when they have nothing to promote. But he's pretty just relaxed about it. But yeah, we have definitely one that Bruce mentioned, that we had finished. And Davey had been in some of the cover projects that we haven't released that are finished. And, there's always stuff going on and we're just always working. So yeah, that's not untrue.
Good. All right. How are you ready?
Yep, in 1 sec. Okay. So, want to welcome everyone to another edition of the Spring Nut Cafe. We took a little break after the serenade and we recouped with all the stuff that was going on with the archives and the center and everything. But now we're back and we got one hell of a guest for you tonight, my friends. Okay, this one's one of the big ones, as we call. He's a great guy. Everyone knows him as a producer and all of his musical accolades, and also which I didn't know until he let me know, and then we said, let's do this. He is a artist, and we're going to be talking about that tonight. The great Ron Aniello. Welcome to the Spring Night Cafe.
Hey.
Yeah, I do the political greetings. Hello, everybody. Oh wow, well, look at you,
Oh,
got the painting in the back. Nice.
Yeah,
Yep.
Oh, you guys look pretty sharp.
I got your promo. There we go.
Wow, you guys are well,
Yeah.
man, I'm just like in my living room right now. Focus the camera so you don't see that I'm nude beneath like right here.
Oh, you
Just don't
too.
stand up. Just don't stand up.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron, for doing this with us. Obviously, everyone knows our host, Ryan Hilligoss, at the helm, and of course, the pride of Ocean Grove, and now a volunteer for the Archives Center,
Oh,
Mr.
nice.
Stan
Right.
Goldstein.
My first day of school today. Yes.
Is that
With that, we're going to
okay?
pass it on to Ryan.
So Ron, we were just talking about this. The picture that's behind me, this is you donated this to the archive and that's there now. Is that correct?
That is, yes. That's the Land of Hope and Dreams painting, which is based on some of you will remember or know that I did me and my partner Shayna did the artwork for some of the artwork for the tour, which was the poster with the fist and against one of my abstract paintings, the No Kings patch and the flag. Are you guys there? Or did I lose
Yep.
you? Okay,
Yeah, we're
cool.
We're
showing
here.
the-
We're here.
Yeah,
showing
okay. All right, cool. And so Bruce and Patty had come over one evening and just to see my artwork, because I don't stop talking about it. And he we went over to the house afterwards and we sat with Bruce and Patty and Shayna and sort of threw a bunch of ideas around for his poster of some of the work that I had done before. And we put it together and that poster is a result of a few of those images that I wanted to get onto one painting. And then it's large scale and it's more like a billboard and I didn't really see a use for it other than the museum, which I think it's perfect for. So yeah, I donated it and they were gracious enough to accept it. And I'm really happy that it's up there where people can enjoy it.
And just looking at this, the first thing I saw or I noticed as a viewer was just it's almost two sides of the story. There's the fist, defiance, and then you got the
Right.
flag, which was hidden for some reason.
Yeah.
So there's two sides of the story there.
Yeah. So that fist is Bruce's fist that I painted, and he was holding his arm up, and there was a pick in it. It was a photograph of him live. So Shayna had designed it in a way that brought the fist down, and so that I could paint it look more like a power fist, and so that's sort of trying to break through the confines of something, and the flag is just represents our democracy and that we're fighting for our democracy, and it just speaks to Bruce's language and message on the tour. And I was inspired by his words, so I did this painting just out of inspiration. I had no plan for it or anything. When I finished it, I said, "Oh, probably go in that museum." So I called John Landau, and he got the ball rolling for us, and they liked the painting, and now it's in the museum.
I love the flag and the fact that you can't quite tell. Is the flag torn? Is that the outer layer that's, torn? Or is that the flag
So the
itself?
flag is
So
just
it's
being covered and fractured, and what I feel our society right now is, whatever you believe, it's just we're in a sort of a disagreeable moment, and it's just fractured and sort of like a broken mirror, kind of. Half shades of red right behind you, and I wanted shards of glass to signify just how fragile our democracy can be, and that we have to, fight for the justices that we deserve. And I guess it's a political statement, but I paint in neo-expressionist style, so the paintings, all my paintings tell a story, and some are humorous, but I liken them to songs, and I know how to put the song together. I worked with one of the greatest songwriters of all time, and we're analyzing those songs and reflecting those songs, and so that's how I approach painting. So that is just a fight for democracy under the fragile uh, flag of democracy, and I had done words across the flag. And then I got into flag etiquette and I was looking it up and I got kind of nervous. Like, what if I, do something incorrect and I don't even know it, and it's a 10-foot painting. So I don't want to like, waste paint and time and like have to keep redoing it. So I learned a lot of things about the flag, and there's interesting etiquette where if it's in the position of down, then you move the stars over to the left side. So if you were to turn that flag this way, the stars would be on the bottom. So then you have to put them on the top. And I think it has something to do with the soldier carrying the flag, that the stars are always showing on his shoulder. I think you somebody there might know better, but yeah. So that's why it kind of went down, and I painted the flag a couple times, and I had, you know, wasn't too familiar with the Jasper Johns flags, and it happens right when I was painting that flag. I was at the museum and I walked into one of the Jasper Johns flags. So it was kind of inspiring to see that. The hard part was those stars. And I'm not going to do stars. So like, there's a lot of them and they're very difficult. So I sat around, and maybe I was going to put words on it. It's fun a lot of different ways. So I ended up, I figured out a way how to do it. And yeah, that's the piece there. It's done with pigment powder, oil stick, oil, and what's called impasto, which is I'm sorry if I'm boring people that aren't.
No.
No, you're
No,
not.
no, this is
Absolutely
not
not.
at all.
But the impasto is like what they used in the old days for paintings. It's like a oil glue substance that is real thick and then it dries, so it gives the painting sort of a texture, an undulation, lines, waves, sort of messed up. And I use that in a lot of my paintings because I paint more raw, and I paint larger. So yeah, so that's the statement. Everybody seems to be enjoying it. I did a interview with Melissa at the center that just popped off today, and I'm doing a lot of press for my art show coming up in July. So I appreciate everybody's being patient with me about, hey, have you seen my art? You want to see a post of my art? Hey, did I tell you I paint? I know, like, just get to the music, please. And I get that online, and some of the fans, bless their heart, are like, okay, already, all right. So what about this? But you can't hurt me because Bruce has been releasing a lot of records, and together we've been very prolific. So, I'm gonna work on it this summer after August. I'll get back to some recording and back to posting fun music stuff. But right now I'm sort of immersed in the art.
I just want to say one thing before we continue, Ryan, is that that poster, the fist, that's went pretty viral. Okay, I mean, definitely in the Springsteen world, it was all over the place.
But
I
the
mean,
first one I did for
yeah,
I Stand with Bruce, yeah, that was
yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
I mean, it was everywhere. I mean, and then that wasn't just like in Spring Nuts. It was like, flip, you couldn't flip your page on social media without seeing it somewhere. It was
Oh,
like a whole bunch of fists. I felt like I was watching the same clip all the time, but it just shows you how powerful that was and how everyone was really drawn to it. No matter what side of the spectrum you stand on, it was a powerful. It was very well done. It's a powerful painting, and kudos. I mean, it really took off. From the beginning, from the very
yeah.
beginning, and now that it's in the archives, it's phenomenal. So just great job on that.
Good. Well, thank you. And I did want to have something represent it. And the painting is interesting because the red background is basically an abstract painting, and I now have something else over that background. It's a face, and so I wanted to have something lasting to represent the fist. Because the sketch of the fist is superimposed onto my painting. So now we have that painting, and Landau wanted to buy the painting, and I said, well, I'd love to sell it to you, but it doesn't exist really. But thinking on maybe making it and making a little cash. Landau's an art collector. So anyway, he was responsible for getting it into the museum, and George Travis was another big help. People were sending them the picture of my painting, and I don't know, the Springsteen crowd is just awesome. They're very supportive, and anything I do, and they're just the best group of people. ever to be working with. They're all just like top-notch people. So yeah, I didn't know that it had gone so viral, but thank you for telling me. I'll have to look at my
Oh, very, very, very. I mean, at least in the Springsteen world, like you couldn't flip a page on Instagram or on Facebook or
yeah.
anywhere without seeing 5,000 fists in the air on
Yeah.
everybody's page.
I
It was
hope
like
I
we
hope
were
they
revolted.
yeah, I hope they make a shirt of it. That's what we were really hoping. Shane and I were hoping that we would have a representation of a shirt. We have a couple posters, and we'll be signing the posters at the art show on July 1st. And I'll get Bruce to sign a couple, and we might do some auctions,
Yeah.
auctions something. And I want to, I just want to do some interesting things with my art where I want you know, art is expensive, you know, and when I when I moved to New Jersey, I didn't have any art. I would have to start completely again. So I, you know, started painting and then put it up at the walls, and I realized how expensive art, good art can be. So with each group of paintings I sell, I'm going to give a painting away to somebody that really couldn't afford it, you know, because you should have real art in your home, you know, and they should, your kids growing up should see the strokes of the paintbrush, and it just means, it means a lot rather than see a print or something like that. And
Absolutely.
it's really not worth these prices of what people sell it for, what mostly galleries. So I'm attached to a gallery, and I'm going to I'm just going to approach it a little different than traditional. You know,
Ron,
it is a hobby, so it's like I'm not giving up my day job. Trust me, but I
right.
do want to do some things in art.
Ron, a few months ago, we were interviewing Warren Zanes, who wrote "Deliver Me from Nowhere," you know, that the movie's based on, and he was a few minutes late, but he texted Howie and said, "Hey, I'll be there, but I'm going to be for," and we didn't ask, we didn't say a word about it, but somehow in the conversation it came up. He says, "Oh yeah, the reason I'm late is I was at John's house and we were looking at all of his art collection, and I told
Oh,
him that I gotta go." And I'm like, "Dude, you left John's house looking at priceless art to come do this with us? Like that's a huge compliment for us. So thank you."
no,
Yeah.
John, that gallery, what a lovely spot. I don't know. He should actually film it, you know. And I mean, I know a lot of people visit his spot from all around the world. He has visitors, art collectors and stuff. But the first time I went there, he was like, "Here, takes the painting off. He goes, hold this. This is going to the Louvre next week." And I'm just holding this painting, wondering what the hell it's worth. And like, I'm not comfortable holding it, you know. But you know what? When you paint art and you're around it, you can touch art. It can take a beating, you know. People are just so precious with it, but it really is it can be knocked around a bit, you know. Not that I would, but my paintings are strewn all over. If you saw the other side of this uh, camera, you'd see 100 paintings, three deep in my living room, covering my fireplace, tinfoils on my window so the sun doesn't get in, and I'm just happy to get rid of it and share it at this point, you know.
A few years ago, John Mellencamp, who's one of my other musical idols that I've been following since I was a kid. He's painted for years. And a couple of years ago, Bruce flew out to Indiana, went to John's studio to help on Wasted Days, and then John took him into his studio, his art studio, and he watched John work for a while. And the way John says it was like Bruce is like, "Man, how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you do that?" He was just very interested in how he was doing it visually. And
Yeah,
John was like, "Here, I'll set you up." And he set him up with a board, and
yeah.
they kind of worked on one together. And the last thing I knew was that that painting, like a joint painting between John and Bruce, is out there somewhere, and John's gonna auction it off at some point in time. So
Oh,
I'd,
oh,
I'd love
oh.
to see I'd love to see what the outcome of that was.
Yeah, yeah. Me too. I think I did see a painting actually. I think that was at the house that I might have seen something. Patty showed me something that I think I've seen it, but I don't actually recall what it was, you know. Bruce is a great photographer, actually, and he you know, when I first met him, his whole house was, all the walls were filled with his photographs, black and whites, and you know, so he hasn't been taking it as much anymore. But definitely, I think if you're an artist, you're just an artist. It doesn't really matter if you're playing music, if you're dancing, if you're writing, if you're making paintings or whatever. It's just the, you know, expressing, you know, what's inside you and learning a way to work with these tools, you know. So Bruce could be anything. He could be a sophisticated arranger, composer, movie score, yeah, he's very, very extremely talented. So yeah, I would imagine if he picked up a paintbrush, it'd be pretty interesting.
Since we're talking about it, our friend Bev wants to know, please explain by what you mean by painting in the raw.
Oh, so my stuff is like, I'm not like a school painter. I didn't take any lessons. I taught myself. So raw means like a little rough. Like if Kurt Cobain, he's a raw artist where he's not schooled. He doesn't like he taught himself. He's just more ragged, rough around the edges. So my paintings are I don't know, messy, a little more relaxed or edgy, not so pristine and perfect. I don't paint landscapes. I don't paint flowers. I don't paint any of that. I paint what's on my mind. Sorry, my phone fell.
Come back, come back.
Oh,
Can you help me out, sweetie?
yeah.
Okay, this is
You're good. All right.
maybe tighten it. And yeah, so my style is a little more raw and edgy. That's what I mean.
Okay, understood. All right. Well, we definitely want to talk about your art, and I will be able to share my screen, and I've got your website up with a lot of your
Oh wow,
art on
cool.
there, so I'll show some of that. But
That's
just so
awesome.
we always try to get to know our guests, so if you don't mind, and we will get back to the art.
Yeah,
So
fine,
if you could
whatever.
just talk to us about a little bit about your background as far as like where you're from, family, upbringing, that kind of thing.
I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was born in Los Angeles. And Las Vegas at that point in the 70s was just a small little desert town, and the backyard was my desert. So I really had nothing. I had no backdrop. It was just all what was in my imagination because there was nothing to do in Las Vegas except casinos, and of course we weren't allowed to go in them. So I would just play in the desert, and I started writing poetry, writing music like early on, 9 years old. My desire was to play music, teach myself instruments. And then, growing up there, I moved the day basically I graduated high school, boom, I was out of there. And for a brief time, I played in the Vegas showrooms or whatever. I played with a lot of different artists, and Frank Sinatra was somebody that I was blessed enough to be able to go on a short tour with. So
Wow.
yeah, when I was I wasn't even 21 because I remember not being able to go in to get a drink.
Ah,
Played like maybe four cities or whatever. It was short, but
what did you play, Ron? Guitar?
I play guitar. Yeah,
Yeah.
the great Al Viola, who's now passed, is his guitar player. But there was a few dates where he was not available to play, and we were on the road as an opening act with this woman Marlene Ricky, I think her name was. And so I just got caught up, and um, very good experience for me. So then I moved to LA, and my ambitions was to be a session musician, and I had no desire to be a rock star ever. So I just kind of worked at sessions and had my groups, had my record contracts, released some records, and I started after I got out of my last record contract at Curb Records, where I was on there for 7 years. I just decided I would start producing and helping young artists to get their music heard and developed. So that's what I did. I sort of made it my mission, and through my church, I found Jason Wade, who would be the singer of Lifehouse, and I think that was my first real big commercial hit. Was "Hanging by a Moment," which was
Wow.
yeah. So he was our youth group leader. He was just a little church band. So it was so funny because all the labels started like descending onto our church in a bidding war, trying to sign this band. I had made some recordings, and like everybody was trying to sign him. So you'd have these church services, and in the back would be all the record companies, and trying to hustle us and stuff. It was pretty funny. So yeah, he had a beautiful voice, and that was back in the day where I could record a song in the morning, which I did. I took it into Capitol, I think, at that point, though he did sign with DreamWorks. And he had an offer for a record contract that evening. that's how it used to be, you know. As in Bruce's day, he tells me you could walk off the street with a guitar, go in there and get signed like he did. You could still, you know, you could still do that. It's much different now because you have to, you know, have this many followers, you have to post your own music, you have to basically do the job of a record company before you even get on a record company. So anyway, so once I started producing, that was it for me. I really thought I found my niche because I play a lot of different instruments and I play a lot of different styles. So it's a perfect fit for me and sort of my musical taste. So I could do a rock and roll project. I could even do Broadway music or whatever. I'm just lover of all kinds of music. I'm not just discerning one style, you know, better than another. I just it's good music and it moves me. And it doesn't really matter what it is. Film score is another love of mine. So I you know, moved to LA, you know, caught up in my records, my bands, and started producing, and that was how I got started.
What was the impetus for you picking up a guitar to begin with? Like, where did that come from? Just totally on your own? Did you take lessons?
Yeah, I'm on. I had a few guitar lessons. Like I think I was in maybe the fourth grade or something. My brother had a guitar and he didn't want to play it, so I took it. And you know, I just kind of fell into it. I mean, I was obsessed with it. I would what is a junior high school? What are you, 13 at that point? I would set my alarm 2 hours before school and practice, or come home and practice for 4 more hours. I had to practice 6 hours a day. It's ridiculous. You know, it's like I thought practicing would get me there. It's good, but it doesn't get you there. It just gets you somewhere. I mean, it gets you technically proficient, but there are many ingredients to becoming a good musician or, you know, and anyway, so that's all I knew. Just practice and I'll get somewhere. Then I moved to Los Angeles and, you know, slept on couches, slept in backyards and, you know, just it said Studio City on the map. So I said, there's studios in Studio City. I bet I'm going to go live there. So I, like an idiot, I moved to Studio City, but it worked out because that's kind of where I should have been anyway. So, you know, I banged around. I had my, you know, I did things, but it didn't really, I don't know, producing was the right fit. And once I started producing, then I was tasting the success, you know, and the blessings that come with that. And I found that if I were to sow seeds into other artists, that would be the most beneficial emotionally and spiritually for me. So that that's my calling is to, you know, be there for some other artists. So that's
So
how pretty
it
much.
sounds like the drive to play the guitar was compulsive, which is a recurring theme in, many artists that we've talked to or that we know of. I heard
Yeah.
this great story a few weeks ago. The songwriter Jason Isbell, who's one of my favorites, he's like 25 years old, and his mom had another son with a different dad, and the kid's like 12 years old. Jason's already in the drive-by truckers, and he goes home, and he and his mom are watching the younger brother play baseball in the backyard. And Jason said to the mom, like, "What do you think he's gonna be?" She said, "A baseball player." And he says, "Oh, well, do you ever see him without a baseball in his hand?" "Well, yeah, all the time." He says, "Did you ever see me without a guitar in my hand?" And she said, "No." He said,
Yeah.
"That's the difference. Like that's the drive. So many musicians, like, they have to play the guitar, they have to play the
Yeah.
piano, whatever the situation is."
Yeah, I think you just answered that call. You know, what is interesting about sports is there's always sports being pushed at you as when you're young. You know, that's sort of your social connection, especially as a boy. You know, and it was sports or music, and I like sports. You know, and there was a time where like I'm putting my guitar in the closet and I'm gonna play soccer, and I love basketball, but it was like always going like I would pass by it, I would see it, I'd open it was just something about it, like, I wonder if I could have left it, you know, but something told me to pick it up, you know. I could have also been an insurance man like my father, you know, and don't you want to run the business like, you know, your brothers and sisters? And I mean, yeah, I guess I could have done that, but yeah, we have to listen to that instinct, that call, that feeling in your gut, you know, and that's kind of what I tell artists. You know, the problem being a musician, artist, singer, whatever, is the financial burden that comes with, something that you love that you have to rely on, you know, feeding you and supporting you. And it's heartbreaking and crushing when you're trying to do this and that's not there, that's not a reality, it's not working financially, so you're a starving artist. And it's unfair, especially in this country where they don't help artists. In Ireland they pay you $1,500 a month to be an artist. If you're an artist, you don't have to pay taxes if you're an artist, if you're making beautiful things for society. But here it's such a throwback, it's I don't know, I wish there was a way to change that. But yeah, being an artist and having that struggle and going through it, and not only my struggle, but as a producer, every band that came before me, oh, we got a record deal, we're gonna, we want to make it, I'm gonna kill you if you fuck up my record, like I felt like I don't want to mess your record up, like I'm do my best for you. But like I know that a lot of bands that pass through, like not that many make it, very few do, so it it's kind of heartbreaking, so I don't know if there's an answer to it or for it. But that's like with my art, I'm not burdened financially by selling it, and I know struggling artists where they'll be happy they sold something for $500, I sold paintings and I want them back, so like there's a patron of the arts that buys my paintings, Frank Fratella, who's a great guy, and he owns Landmark Hospitality. He owns a bunch of hotels and um, restaurants and stuff, and he's just wonderful. But I always laugh because I had to he had to talk me into selling my first painting. And he would, what about the paintings? Where, how can I see them? And would be the opposite of an artist. Like, yeah, sure. Like I would not return the call, or I would just I would sort of run. But then when I did sell it, I was happy because then I'm sharing it with people, and I can go see it at the restaurant if I want to. It's up at, if you're ever in New Hope, it's called the Matty Rose. I have paintings up there. A very good restaurant and a very awesome place. And Frank's awesome. So he got me into selling my art. So in short, like the financial burden of being an artist, a musician, or anything, and it's rough. And my heart goes out to anybody that's trying to make it, especially nowadays when everything is so different, and with online music and royalty streams and stuff.
Do you find when you're an artist compared to being a producer, is the art like sort of a hobby that you enjoy? It's peaceful for you, whereas producing, you feel that's work.
Yeah, honestly, it's nothing. That's what the blessing is for me, because nothing ever felt like work. Music never felt like work. I mean, maybe there was one or two projects that felt like work because maybe I didn't hit it off with the artist. But you generally pretty easygoing, and generally artists are too. I mean, artists are a bit crazy and they can have their idiosyncrasies, but yeah, it's never been work, and I don't feel I've worked ever in my life. I mean, when I moved to LA and was sleeping on couches and stuff, I was a valet attendant. I think I worked in a pizza restaurant, or I did some odd jobs, and but for the most part, I worked hard enough at my music to where I could always make a dime, So and meeting Bruce and Patty, and why I moved to New Jersey, because they're so great to work with, and it's just such a different level. There's not the pressure of the label of delivering. Bruce makes the calls, you know what I mean, and he turns his record in, and there's no feedback from the label. Oh, can you make this little hook here, can you add a tambourine, or well, there's none of that, you know what I mean. And when people get involved, it's just kind of difficult, and they all have jobs at labels, so they feel that they need to you know have input, and sometimes it can be helpful, but for the most part it can be pretty painful. So I feel like independent now. I'm independent of that, and it feels good. I do produce other people. Just was working with this girl, Sophia Zamani, who will be coming out with her music. She's got some songs streaming. She's very good, and uh, you know, couple people here and there, but for the most part, like they would have to be really confident and know what they want and sure of themselves, and not getting too beat up from the system, and then it could be a good experience, but same with film. When you do a film and you're dealing with Netflix, or you're dealing with the film company and the producer, and then they're running the director ragged, and it's a world. It's a downward spiral. It can be. I don't mean to sound negative, because 90% of what I do is positive. For some reason, I'm just bringing up the negativity. It must be the moon. I don't know. Sorry, but my life has been blessed, and most of my experiences are positive and good.
So Ron, just looking at your resume here, you've worked with quite a array of artists. Sixpence None the Richer, um, Lifehouse you mentioned earlier, Jars of Clay. But in 2007, you worked on Patty's Play As It Lays. So can you talk about how you got to that point and working
Yeah,
with
sure.
Patty?
My friend Brendan O'Brien called me, and he was Bruce's producer for The Rising, and what was the other?
Magic.
Oh yeah, great album, Magic, The Rising, and one other one. And anyway, so Bruce had asked him if he knew any producers to help Patty, and he called me and says, "Hey, she's looking for a producer. You think you could do it?" And I don't think we connected at first, but I was in Los Angeles and here, but then that was for the album before that, and then when she was ready to do her Play It As It Lays, her next album, she called me again, and I said, "Yeah, I'll come out, let's go." And I went out, I auditioned, we made some tracks together, some music together, and we hit it off. So that's how I came into that relationship, was through Brendan. And I love her music. I love working with her. She's brilliant, and she's a great producer and a great arranger. And she runs her ship, and it's good. And she's got a very powerful voice in the studio. And I just like people that know what they want. You know what I mean? It helps me, because then I can reflect and enhance what they're doing. And she's got some great music that we've completed, and I just pray that it comes out soon, for sure.
That
Yeah, we were
was,
gonna
yeah,
ask you about that.
we're getting questions of that. When will we see Patty's next album?
If it was up to me, tomorrow, and I'm also trying to, approach her about playing live. At one point we were going to do a residence at the Wonder Bar or somewhere here. Yeah, that was a year ago, but with her, and she's, with her condition and stuff, it's kind of it's really up to her. And I pray. I mean, she has a fantastic album, and we're working on another one. So
Wow.
one album's done,
Wow.
so I hope that again, that's up to her. I don't know, and I don't know the answer to that. I'm sorry.
We may
That's
have to
okay.
push. We may have to push a little bit and show her how much
Yeah.
the spring nuts are very much, and we're in anticipation. We heard about the album a while ago, and we know, even Bruce said they were, she was working on it, and she said she was working on it. But again, obviously, the condition, I'm sure, has something in it. But Rumble Doll is a great album. Play It As It Lays is a great album, and we definitely would love to hear that. We would love for her to release the music, even if she couldn't tour, or it's not, touring is in the cards, but to hear some more new music from her, it would be fantastic.
Yeah, well, she could do films. She could do live performance films, and it's not like you have to get in a bus and
Right.
like there's ways to tour now, I would imagine, and she could do a residency.
Yeah.
She could do something in New York, like Bruce had the residency for
Broadway.
the show, yeah, the Broadway show. So yeah, I mean, that's my dream, is to play with her, because like I feel like I would be maybe one of the first calls, like, for a musician for live, because nobody asked me to play live, and I really do miss it. I like playing live, but he's got the E Street Band. He doesn't like need me. And then Patty, she works with Steve Jordan a lot. And she has her people, but yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah. I
I
was
mean,
just going to bring up Steve
We got
Jordan.
you, Ron.
Yeah.
We'll nut you. Don't worry. We got
Yeah, yeah. Put
we
a
got
good
you.
word in for me.
Yeah.
I want to
That was
play
just,
You
anything.
got
I'll
it.
play drums, bass, piano, key. I don't care. Guitar.
Cowbell.
I was just going to bring up Steve Jordan because Patty played 5 shows, I think, in 2004. And
Yeah.
Steve Jordan was part of that band. And as many know, he's now the Rolling Stones drummer. So, yeah.
Yeah, well
World
deserved
class.
too.
World class.
Yeah.
So good. I was so fascinated with him. I think the first time watching Steve is, I don't know, he has a very strong presence. And I was sitting there, we were recording, for that album of first, we recorded what's called Boxwood, which is the house across the street. And that's where I think Bruce did Seeger sessions, and
Yeah.
he would do a lot of his recording at that point before we met. But it was just an old farmhouse, and we would set up in the living room. So it all set microphones, and I would sit in the living room with my headset, making sure everything was cool. And I would just, man, sit in front of his drums and just watch him. It's mesmerizing. His groove is so perfect. Just his feel. It's a feel thing, and the sound of the drums and tasty. Yeah, pretty awesome.
So Ron, so that's where you met Patty. Uh, First album you worked with Bruce on was Wrecking Ball. Two-part question. A, kind of what was that like working with Bruce compared to other artists that you'd worked with? And then if you could, I think I heard a story that you told about where the whistle from We Are Alive came from, and I was hoping you could maybe share that again.
I have to remember to share.
Okay, so
That's my memory.
let's just do part one. What was that
Dude,
like for you working with Bruce on
well,
Wrecking Ball compared to other artists?
yeah. So my first record was actually Western Stars, because that's the record I went out there to
Love
audition with.
that record. Love
Yeah,
that record.
yeah, as well. I do too. And so he played me those songs, or with some of them, and that's what I was auditioning on. And I stayed there for a month working on those songs. And he had said something like, I know what I would do. I'm kind of wondering what someone else would do to help me sort of break free, to have some new ideas, is how something like that he put it. And he said, I'm going into the city, here's a track, and do your thing, and I'll see you tomorrow. So I blew up the track, and he came in and um, liked it. And he goes, okay, let's go, let's do all the songs. And so I stayed there for a month, and uh, no arrangement, no, I didn't ask for anything. I was just happy to be there, happy that I didn't have to pay him to be there. And so we blew up that record, and then Wall Street thing happened, and he was just drifting a bit from the record, and I don't know, something hit with him and connected with what was going on as socially at that moment. And then he wrote all those songs for Wrecking Ball. So boom, it was very quick, and he wrote a song a day, and he brought in a song a day. So it was like kind of mind blowing for me, because you work with bands, and like they're working for years to get their record contract, and they have like 50 songs or whatever, and they've been playing a lot. It's a different. Everything was just uh, newly formed, and the birth of it was so beautiful and natural. So he would do a vocal guitar take of a song, and I would add instruments. He would come back the next day, suss out the parts that I had put on, and we worked it together. And like, okay, that's good, that's an idea, and it's not quite, but it brings up another idea. It kind of was like that. And it was great. It was just nonstop, and I didn't really know what to expect. Like, I remember Easy Money. He had left for the day and then come back, and then I was in the lounge area, and then I hear him like playing. I guess Bruce had come back, and he has something. The mic's not even pointed in the right direction, and I'm trying to. What's he playing? He had this song, and that was the first song that I think I heard, which would be the theme of Wrecking Ball, was Easy Money. And he called me the next day and just kind of said, what you think about that? I said, well, that sounds like something in your wheelhouse. That would be a really amazing kind of record to make. And he goes, okay, cool, I'll see you tomorrow. And he just kept bringing in those songs, and one a day. And I couldn't catch up. you know, because I was so proud of myself. I got one ready and I got some ideas to show him. He goes, okay, yeah, fine, we'll listen to that later. Here's another one. Here's another one. And I thought, oh, fuck, this is how this guy works. I'm not going to be able to keep up. He needs three producers, you know. But it's like this: if you get used to something, you just figure it out. You know, now, you know, I'm just used to it, so I just know how he works, and it's yeah, it's just a
Right.
blessing to be able to be a part of it, and he's taught me a lot about, you know, just what to worry about and what not to worry about, and what to you know, how to stay out of the way of the song and the character and what he's trying to say. And like his instincts are uncanny, you know, he just seems to make the right decision a lot of the time. So and because I don't think he overthinks it, you know. And yeah, they just let the good music come, kind of, you know what I mean? You can get in your own way a lot, and a lot of people do. And other hits I've had with young bands, like that song "Hanging by a Moment." I mean, that was the same thing. It was just a little tune he played at church, and it sounded good, and there was never any discussions of what it should be or what it shouldn't be, or any second guessing. It just, don't get in your own way is, I guess, what I'm trying to say, because it's very easy to do that in everything, in your relationships, in your art, and whatever, in your business. Just kind of like let things happen, you know. You just help guide them, but if you're in the right spot, it sort of comes. And Bruce seemed to be the vessel that was receiving songs at that point, you know, because I was watching him and I think he told me, yes, I'm experiencing it a little different than you. You're listening to it, but I'm doing the activity of singing it. It's coming and I'm singing it. So I'm thinking about something, but he's also letting it flow through him, you know? And I thought that was pretty interesting, you know?
She brought it up, the one a day. The streets of Minneapolis just absolutely blows my mind because here's a guy who 40 years ago, 50 years ago, spent 8 months looking for a certain drum sound. Put him in the elevator, put him in the staircase, put him in here, put him in there. Drum, stick, 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 stick.
Yeah.
An event, and a tragic a tragic event that happens on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Within 5 days, he writes, arranges, records, masters, and puts out Streets of Minneapolis in 5 days. That
Yeah.
just blows my mind.
Yeah. Well, songs don't take all that long to make. Uh, Generally, it's a day or two, and then you come back to them or do this, and then okay, we'll add some strings at another date, or do this. And but his intent was an immediate. You know, he called me, hey, I got a song. Where you at? Let's go. And it was that snowstorm, you know, and it was like, well, we're not going to be able to do it today because, like, you know, my car was buried. Like, I live on a driveway like this that I risk my life every time I on it or walk down, especially in the snow. So that storm hit, but it was the next day. It was that, I don't know what storm was that? When was that?
It was like the first
February? Yeah, February.
January. Yeah, I don't know. That huge,
Yeah.
massive storm, and I was stuck, you know. So dug the car out and finally made it to the studio, and it was just himself, me, myself, our engineer Rob, and him. And so we made the song. John came actually. Yeah, John had some ideas as well, as always. And so he came on, and I can't remember now if it was the day we recorded or the day after, whatever. But he was very enthusiastic, and we had talked about what was interesting about the song was there were no metaphors in the song, and it was just a very direct language, you know.
Mhm.
And uh and it just kind of, it was surprising. So like it was a little different kind of song for him, and I think he was feeling that too. So uh he just put, you know, put his head down, and we made the song, and we mixed it. I and mastered it. It came out, and I kind of didn't have the time to like think about it. And I thought, well, you know, maybe we could get a better mix on this, and or maybe I cut it a little slow, or let's try speeding it up. So we did a remix with Bob Clearmountain, which is just sped up a little bit. and maybe just a little different sound. But yeah, it is what it is. Again, it's raw, quote unquote raw. So it it spoke to the moment, and that's all. That's what's important. That's the power of the song. What anybody does is an arrangement, and I've learned through Bruce that it's like, if the lyric and the voice is connecting, then you're good. It's like, just don't get in the way. It can have this, and I mean, I've played wrong. I've played wrong chords in songs or heard them, and he goes, "Well, if it makes you feel better to fix it, you can go ahead and fix it." Like so I think he's changed quite a bit since the early days, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's that really trusting that instinct, that's the magic. Part of his magic is like he just trusts his instincts, and why wouldn't he, because look what he's accomplished, So yeah, that was a fun process, and I'm glad it got out. I'm glad the tour happened, and yeah, it was just it's meant to be. He told me once that songs have their purpose. Like I think "We Take Care of Our Own" served the purpose, and that purpose of that song. I think Obama used it, and that was the what a great feeling to hear that at the inauguration and wherever he would use it. That was such a thrill. So songs just find their place. They don't all need to be number one radio songs. Land of Hope and Dreams. Like I was asking Don the other day, was that ever a single? Because I don't think so. I mean, why don't we release it as a single now that he's touring in America?
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, we're not doing singles right now, but whatever." Yeah, so that song had a purpose, and it's going to live on. And who knows what's going to be popular in 100 years. Maybe it's that song, or maybe it's Outlaw Pete, or something you wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know. Look at Woody Guthrie, this
Yeah.
Land of Carolina. He didn't know that was going to be his theme song. He's like, so anyway, yeah, that's how it sort of works.
I will say one thing that that I got to know more about you. Um, watching Thom Zimny's "Letter to You" documentary, which I love. And just seeing, I'm a man, I love to see the process. I always love to see the process of any musician and how it, starts to finish and whatever. And to see, you were on the mixing board and you were helping arrange the songs, and how Bruce was going back and forth, and I really love that film. And I happen to think "Letter to You" is one of Bruce's best albums that he's ever put out. Even going back to his classics of "Darkness" and "Born to Run" and whatever, "The River." I thought "Letter to You" from start to finish, even though some of the songs were written like when "Priest" was written when he was God knows how long and old and whatever, and just the way it was arranged, all the songs that were arranged on that album were just I mean stellar. I mean, but it was also a way that I got to learn about you and what you did and your input into the music. It really, I think Thom Zimny really captured you. Obviously, we were going to see the band and Bruce and their stuff, but we got to see how you worked behind the scenes and how much input you had in this album. And kudos to you. And I think you won, didn't you know? I know you won something. Didn't you win an award for one of these albums in
Yeah,
producing or?
I honestly don't follow. I don't follow awards. It's kind of a
Uh,
thing with me. Like I don't feel like there should be awards because there's not one thing that's better than the next. And I don't know. I've been up for a lot of Grammys and stuff, and I don't watch them. I don't go. It's just not. But I appreciate you bringing it up,
no,
and
no, no, no.
obviously I'm flattered, but again, it's like how can you? It's like a piece of art. It's like how can you like that one's better than this one? Like so yeah, it might have been up. I think some of the records we did were up, and I think I've won some awards, but I wouldn't know. I don't have any in my house, and I've never gone to. I think we did one. I went to one award show, the Grammys, where Bruce was playing. We Take Care of Our Own, I think, and that was kind of fun because Paul McCartney was there, and I did that. But yeah, I don't know how to explain that, but anyway, Letter to You is a great record, and it's one that we cut with the band. So that in itself is huge because I don't get to work with the whole, and I really wanted to get everybody there. And his studio is it's not small, but it's not like one of those rooms where it's easy to set up a whole band with, you know, organ, drums, three guitars, two guitars, three guitars with Bruce, and the bass and the piano isolated, like which we had to build a isolation chamber for him because in recording you have the live microphones and we wanted the band sound, you know, but Bruce would be singing live and those are all his live takes on vocals. I mean, we tried over dubbing the vocals and it's normal to like, okay, we got the track now, let's do the vocal. But we just, after a couple takes, he was like, these lead vocals are great. And he's right, they're fantastic. And so what happens, like, let's say I have drums. I don't mean to get technical, but
Oh,
I have a piano. So the drummer's playing and the piano player's playing. So their sound is bleeding into those microphones. So when I turn the piano track up, I'm getting, you know, drums. So it's hard to isolate and mix that to get a pleasing sound because it's not like live where why can't you do the live? It's we need to isolate things so we can tailor them to mix them in the proper perspective, you know. So we built a room around Roy, so we wouldn't have leakage there, so we could use his live takes. And then we had Max playing in the room, and then we had Bruce in an isolation chamber, so all his takes would be clean, you know, so I could cut or edit or do whatever I want. So it was really that camaraderie of the band, and then put Thom Zimny's crew in there as well. You know, and so it's like it was actually a lot of fun. I think Tom was telling me that was one of his favorite projects, you know, and me too. And I love working with Tom. And afterwards, we like to, you know, with the score. When I work on the score with him, it's just like there's nothing easier and more freeing than to work with somebody like Tom who really appreciates music. Tom responds to music. He'll have a scene cut and he'll give it to me and I'll score it. I'll put music behind it. He goes, "Oh man, that's so good. I'm gonna go recut it." You know, like the enthusiasm of a 17-year-old kid. Like it's 4 a.m. Like let's go. Like, yeah. So all these people that Bruce has around him that have been there, there's a reason we all sort of work well together and we're there for support of Bruce. So that is a brilliant record, great songs. And I think one of my favorites as well. Like, you know, I like how he does the songs scale back with 1,000 guitars and See You in My Dreams. Those sound great on acoustic. And then part of me, a small part of me is like, well, he must have not liked the arrangement because now he's doing it on acoustic. I know he must have messed up. So, but
I
it's
I will
worth
say
it.
live, I would have liked to hear the band arrangement on the tour. I mean, that's just as personal because I happen to love that arrangement. But and you could actually is one of the most poignant parts of the film is watching, you know, when you guys were listening back to I See You in My Dreams, you see John Landau bowling. I mean,
Yeah,
bowling, you know, and how it hit him. And this is someone who's been around Bruce's music from, you know, the beginning. So, like, you know, you just saw the power of the moment, and you saw you at the mixing board, and you see everybody just soaking in the replay of the song of the finished song. It was I love that
yeah,
film. I love seeing everyone work and see their parts and how it all came together. And the music is just phenomenal. It was definitely you know, one of my favorite albums. And
they're
I think
fantastic.
it's, you know, it spoke, you know, for you know, what we're all going through, the mortality and everything, you know, that we think about in our age groups and whatnot. So kudos, man.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, he had some lovely pictures of his bandmates up on the board, and yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful thing to be able to tap in to those emotions and you know, they're sentimental and one level, but also it's a very deep artist, and that's what makes it so special, you know, and gives the songs their power. And you know, it's all in that song, you know, and that story. And you know, from the beginning, what I knew about Bruce was was the themes of records. You know, there's always a theme to a record. You know,
Right.
it's through. He might have one song that like maybe you get a relief from, but for the most part, like he's telling that story, and that has, you know, that just doesn't happen, you know, like and then with any artist. I mean, all we were trying to do in making records is get 10 great songs, you know what I mean? And put the best one first and the worst one last. You know, that's all we did. And but then I see how they work, and between him and John with their sequencing, they go for months and months and months, and Bruce is a master sequencer. And you know, I think Max told me once, or was it Steven, but what was it, the river, uh he had like 10 different sequences to the that he was going to listen to, and he listened to them all one after the next after the next.
That's actually a good point, because you being, just saying a sequencer, I was actually surprised on that. Going back to that letter to you, is that it started off with 1 minute you're here and 1 minute
Oh yeah,
you're gone, because it
yeah,
was like very, and then it just rolled in. So you would think something maybe like Letter to You or Ghost or something would open up the album, and with a, but I think, like, again, thinking about the way, it was, it's something that he started with, probably the most docile,
yeah.
you know slow song that you could, to open the album.
Well, I think he's responding lyrically. That's like sort of the tone of the record. That's the sort of message of the record. So he
Right,
sequences
right.
not only musically, like most bands were in the key of B flat, we can't go to F, we better stay in like you know, acceptable key. That's he I think I would assume he tells the story with the lyrics, and that's how he sequences. So he wanted to get that one first. But I mean, 75, 85 live, doesn't that start with Thunder Road, acoustic on
Right,
piano, or
Yep.
right.
I remember
Yep.
Mhm.
it can be very powerful to start with. And then I remember John saying at the center the other day, he went to see him live, and he would start, you know, he started with the very slowest song first, and it was working, you know. So it could be very good effect to start with sort of a dramatic song that sets it up, sort of like an intro
Yeah.
into the record, you know. And I think that's what that moment probably was about, you know. And that's same with Hitchhiking, when we moved that first for Western Stars, that, you know, it's kind of like, then you get into the record, you know, sort of setting the story up, you know.
So Ron, whatever you can tell us,
Love that.
what we might expect from Bruce in the future, studio wise.
Well, I have it on
I
good
love
advice that
the
Bruce
hell out.
Springsteen. Hello?
Wait, Howie, you're Howie, you're unstable.
Yeah, he froze. So-
Not that you're unstable, Howie, but your connection is unstable. Sorry, I need to
Just
clarify.
as Ron was going to tell us this breaking news. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was about to tell a joke that he's just going to, like, you know, come over and look at my art.
Yeah.
That's,
I'll be
that's
the
what
first
all
person to
about it.
say it. Okay, we'll
Uh,
wait.
what Bruce is doing is, Bruce only knows. I have no idea, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, like I said, we have an album, a lovely album, finished, working a lot with Patty, and that's why I've had this time to work on my art, because like, you know, I just thought I just, you know, I just got inspired, so I'm really kind of focusing on that up until August, and then I'll get way back into music, and I'll start posting music stuff. But yeah, I can't tell you what he's got planned, to be perfectly honest. And I'm not just being dodgy. I really just don't know.
So
Mhm.
Ron, let's your exhibit is coming up July 1st,
Yeah,
correct? In
yes,
There it is.
Atlantic
yeah,
Highlands.
it is. Yes, seven. The cocktail party is 7 to 9. Atlantic Highlands is awesome. You could catch a ferry at Pier 11, get off at Atlantic Highlands, and walk up the street. You'll be at the gallery. and it's a nonprofit gallery. I'm trying to raise money for them, and awareness, cultural awareness in our community. So we'll be giving some stuff away, maybe do I don't know, sell some sign. I don't know how we're gonna do it exactly because it's all free. So, but I'm gonna probably do a music seminar the middle of the month where you can watch me score a film
Hmm.
for a couple hours. I'll have my instruments there, I'll have my engineer, we'll put the screen up, and I'll show people just what it's like to sort of make a score, make music to a film. And hopefully I can get a Thom Zimny movie, maybe the one at the center, or one of our films that we've worked on together, or maybe something that's new. Well, we've talked to him about it, but that that will be a fundraiser for the gallery, and I might do that at the center
Mm.
uh, as well. So I'm just not sure, but that will be around the 18th. But the opening is July 1st. And please come out. If you're in New York, just take the ferry. If you're in New Jersey, please come out, have a good time. There's parking at the C Street parking just down the down the street. Just walk up the street. The gallery's right there. And let's see, I'll be showing my art all month. So if you can't make the opening, you can come to. I sound like a salesman, like QVC or something. Like if you can't make the opening, the art will be up there all month. So come in anytime. DM me if the gallery's closed. I think they close on Monday and Tuesday, but if you DM me, I'll send somebody over there to let you in to check it out. I just want to share it, and some of it will be for sale, some of it won't, and some of it will be donated. And yeah, just come out, say hello, have a chat, have some champagne, eat some food, hear some music, see some art.
You
So
answered
Ron,
all my questions. Yes, I was
yeah,
going to ask you. Yeah, open to the public. So no
Yeah.
reservations or anything like that. Just show up.
Nope.
Right. Right.
I have
so
no idea what to expect, but like I'm hoping everything's cool. Like, it's a small gallery, but please come out and support Atlantic Highlands. It's a great town. The
Mm.
gallery, nonprofit, they're great people. And yeah, open to the public.
Mhm.
So for those watching, you're looking at Ron. I'm sharing my screen. Your website, ronaniello.com/art. So
Yeah.
what I'm showing people now is a couple of my favorites. Cat in window.
Yeah.
Can you just
That's my
talk a little bit
cat.
about that?
Yeah, we have a feral cat, and this is beg for food at the window. So I drew I draw a little more abstract, and that actually is a cat, and that's actually a window, and I put that's on paper, so I built a thing where I could slide the paper behind the window so it looked like cat in window. And yeah, we call her Meow because all she sounds like Tom Waits. Her meow is like very husky, like tuberculosis husk. So that's my cat.
That's awesome. So are you painting on a mixture of different paper, wood?
Yeah, I'm paint on anything. I paint on fences, canvases, a lot of oil on canvas. Most of my stuff is oil. I do some paper stuff. Sometimes I'll do collage. Sometimes I'll make a sketch, blow the sketch up, and then I'll paste it to a canvas and I'll paint over that. I have a cornhole game that the past owners of the house left, and I painted over that. I put some paintings inside it, and then I painted on the wood. I build fences. I paint on those, and a lot of canvases. And I'm doing, as you can see behind me, this is a large, like 9 foot 6 inch painting on canvas, and I have a couple of those. Hopefully, I'll have two large ones at the show.
Yeah, I was
And
going to
what
ask you about that. We've been looking at that our whole conversation. So does that have a
Yeah,
name? The painting behind you with the
yeah, it's Little Evil. So I saw I was just playing around with Shane and I are toying around with the idea of making some toys like of my characters, and this was we went to the Radiohead film, which I highly recommend, where it's 4 screens and they have a lot of Tom York's artwork. If it's not Tom York, it's his partner artist that he I partnered with, and it's 30 feet faces of like these little creatures and stuff. And I thought, oh, I'm going to try one of my creatures large, and it's really fun to paint big like that because it's easier than small actually. And so I just have I paint a lot of like characters, you know. I don't, like I said, I don't paint landscapes and flowers and stuff like that. I just kind of paint my imagination. And that's
Okay,
something.
Ron, this is one of my favorites. This made me laugh. Like I was scrolling down and I laughed. Hollywood Agent.
Yes, John Landau.
Ah!
I just thought it had like the Hollywood agent look. I'm gonna give John that painting actually. It's a smaller painting. That's it's funny you picked a few of those out because I have those rolled up somewhere in the closet. But yeah, so I'll take that painting, which is smaller, like 16 by 20, and I'll paste it to a larger canvas. Then I'll draw a body on him and do something else. But yeah, that's a pretty funny
So I'm not going to ask you the cliche question of where do your ideas come from, but are you looking like do you look at a blank canvas and you just come up with something, or are you looking at the
yeah.
texture of what you're painting? Like where do you start from?
It's changed since I started. Since when I started, I just stood and improvised, and I had nothing. You know, I would just have at it. And now I sketch, and I have a room where I do sketches. So I was always drawing because I've drawn my whole life, and I'll draw these characters, and then sometimes in the morning or in the evening, I'll get a projector and I'll get a canvas and I'll just flip through 100 sketches to see what it looks like as a painting. And if something strikes me, like, okay, that will make a good painting, and then I'll start to work. Like that's my favorite right there. That's called Diablo.
Dance. Wait,
Yeah,
dance?
yeah, it's called a dance. But I love that little three-legged donkey and that character dancing together, you know. So I'm gonna do that's my next painting. That's a smaller painting. I have that painting, but I'm going to do a 10-foot wide and 8-foot high painting of that and some other things, uh, like with creatures dancing like this. And I'm hopeful, you know, they're not scary. They're just like they're just odd, you know. I'm not painting to scare people because some people they think it's frightening, but it's really not. It's just I don't know. I don't know where they come from. Like that particular one.
I love this one, Buffalo
Yeah,
Hunter.
yeah. So that's on a fence that I made. So that is a uh, called it's a buffalo sign in African culture. The head is. It's not like that, but it's similar to that. So I'll take something in African culture and make something out of it. Like so, I made a face out of that shape because it's called buffalo, and then I put that body on it, and then I figured, oh, he should be like, you know, hanging the bones of human, and maybe that was AI, maybe that's technology, and maybe what he's doing is hanging, you know, eating the flesh off the humans. Right? Well, I don't really know. It's like those were the feelings that I had when I was painting that. So some sort of technology taking over human, but I have a sense of humor, so like everything is kind of that one. Just Jessica has at her house. Just I gave it to Jessica Springsteen. That's a nice painting. It's smaller. That's on wood. And yeah, so some of my stuff is you know, sort of funny, and some of it's a lot of it's African masks that I make faces out of. And I think my inspiration is just I don't really know. I just whatever pops off in my mind, but I don't generally look at anything. That one is a it's a book I wrote excuse me, called The Song Yard, where child songs take the form of childlike creature that one day long to be completed, but are stuck inside sort of a boneyard. It's called a song yard, where they are being suppressed. Their creativity is being suppressed. So that's one of the characters, Melody. Excuse me, that's Melody in the song yard. So that's going to be an animated film
Hmm.
with a lot of these different characters are part of the film. And we have animated clips of some of these characters that I'm going to try to project if it's dark enough in the music in the gallery to show what they look like as cartoons.
How many pieces are you going to have in the gallery?
I don't actually know because the gallery's not that big, and I have a lot of paintings, probably 60, 70 paintings. I probably have 15 to 20 maybe, but if I end up putting some large ones there, then I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna get in there like a week early and try to curate it. I've never done it before, so I don't really know.
I just talked to Connie Freestone, who's a photographer in the Bruce world. She works up and down the shore. She shoots for the Spring Nut Serenade and a lot of other events. But anyway, I talked to her a few weeks ago, and she's got a gallery down in Tom's River, not Tom's River, but in that area. Anyway, she said she's got like 500,000 photos that she's taken her whole career,
Yeah.
and for her to pick out, the 30 pictures that she wanted to put in there was like, Sophie's choice, because it's like, how do I pick one over all these other ones that I've done? So it was very
Yeah.
hard for her.
Well, what's interesting is what happens? I mean, because artists, they're not going to sell everything. They'll have a show, and then where does their art go? Their art goes into a warehouse for the rest of their life, and then when they pass away, the family gets it. And like Basquiat, um, who is one of my favorite artists, his sisters had $500 million worth of his art in a warehouse because his art wasn't selling until the 90s, really after that movie, I think. And yeah, so where does it, that's what I was thinking, like, yes, all this art's going to leave, it's all over the place and on my walls, but it's probably going to come back as well. And then what am I going to do with it? So like your friend, like who you were telling me, like 500 photographs, so where do you put them, I hate for this stuff to be locked away in a dungeon. So like, well, I'm going to sell. I have some people that collect art, and what I can't sell, I'm going to give away, or I just don't want it to be wasted. I wish I painted like stuff that would work in a bank or whatever, but it really doesn't because it's a little weird. I can't see any of my work being, at a bank or like, and some of it's so big, who could put it on their wall? So some of it's really made for museums and um, whatever. I mean, it's just a new thing for me, so we're gonna see what happens. I'm gonna do a show in LA uh, as well. That will be my next show, and I've already got a spot planned out, and I'm doing, uh, just gonna I'll probably go to LA and work for a while there, like this winter. It's gonna, yeah, when it starts to get cold here, because my girlfriend's allergic to the cold, so we like seriously, actually, she has a medical condition where she breaks out in hives.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh,
laugh.
no, no,
I
no.
just thought you were just being funny about how she doesn't like the cold. I'm sorry.
No, 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 no apologies, because yeah, it can be funny that sometimes, like, but I'm like, you want to go skiing? No, like, so yeah, so we'll probably do something in LA, and see what happens with Bruce's music. I'm not sure what he's going to be doing, but always something to do.
So I have one last question for you on my end, and I'll let the other two ask whatever they have. I've got a friend named Jeff from Texas, and he's a big fan of your work, going back to Jars of Clay. He's more faith related, and he just had a question for you that he asked me to ask you, which is, you've spoken about your faith. How does your faith work into, your music and your art?
Uh, just my faith is very strong. I practiced my faith in a church for a long time, and there's seasons of faith where you're very much exercising it, going to church, being a part of the church community. I was finding bands like Lifehouse. I found, like I said, they were our youth group, and that season was amazing. So when I moved out here and started, I work in secular, and I haven't done a lot of Christian music. I don't know why, but maybe they don't call me anymore. But I just I do something when I'm asked to do it if it seems to fit. But I don't really. I mean, I don't know what Bruce does is very spiritual. Yeah, it's not labeled as uh, you know Christian, but it's a lot of his songs are beautifully spiritual. So I don't know. It just adds a certain weight to what you do, and uh, I'm just trying to exercise my faith through art now and moving people and being inspired, and inspiration is spiritual. And so I'm trying to show that. And I hope that people can be moved in some way. If I make a record, with anybody and then they're moved, then I've really fulfilled my calling. I know there's a song I cut with Lifehouse called Everything, which he probably knows. And for years I didn't know, but they had made this, they were making uh, sort of musical theater from the song of Jesus' temptation, temptation of Christ. And there were different versions of it. There was a ghetto version of it. And I would see it. It was just so joyful to watch, and not even knowing that the song had taken its own sort of momentum and become something else. And that's the biggest joy for me, to see something that sort of morphs and grows. And then you put songs out, and you just pray that they mean something to somebody. And that's my reward, is like having touched somebody in a way, or helped an artist touch them. And that's, what more can you ask for? And that blesses me and helps me, and validates, my work.
Thank you. Thank you for answering.
Sure.
Final question from me, Ron. First of all, you said you're from Vegas. I think there's got to be a hotel or someplace in Vegas for your artwork. That might be the perfect town for it. And on July 1st, you said you'll have posters too that will be available
Yeah.
for purchase.
So I have some of the tour posters we're gonna sign.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to get Bruce to sign a few as well, and then I will. We're making posters of one or two pieces of my art. I'll probably sell prints. I have hoodies. I have hats. Come down, get it all. I've got stickers. I've got tote bags. I've got some merchandise, which is a lot of fun. And Shane, and my gal, was like big part of that, and she's so great as a designer, and she's an artist herself. So we were in LA and found a spot, and we're like doing the whole merch thing. It was like I was 17 years old and I had a gig with my band, and I had to get the PA there. It was like, it's that kind of work, and it's like exhausting, and I'll be glad when it's over. But without her, I could have not done any of it. She's been awesome. And she's going to display some of her art in the middle of the month. And she does sound bowl healing, fire dancing, face painting, body painting, sings amazing. So we're gonna have yoga. We're gonna do all kinds of stuff there. Like, we're gonna split atoms there. So just, I'll be posting what the activities are. We're
Yeah.
doing Reiki healing around the art, hopefully scoring, if not there, then at the theater. And what was the question again? I got mixed up.
No, just that you would have posters for sale. Well,
Oh, yeah,
I'll
yeah,
ask you
yeah.
this. Is your hoodie part of your merchandise too that you're wearing with the heart?
Cool story of this, like there was a line in LA. We were just in LA, and we wanted to wait in the line, because why not, right? It's a line. There must be something good at the end of it. So we just sit in this line, and we're like, hey, what are we waiting in line for? And everyone seemed to be excited. So there's this brand. This brand, it's called
Aviator Nation.
Aviator Nation.
Hmm.
You will sleep in it. You will wear this outside after you've slept in it for 3 days. It's the softest, kind of like cashmere feeling hoodie,
Hmm.
sweatpants I've ever had in my life. So
Nice.
no, these are high end. I'm giving you the cheap stuff, like, but it's got some of my art, and like but we got some cool hats, and I've got little pictures of my art. We got some patches. I think this patch, what's it called? The power. What's our patch?
Oh, art, power, and art.
Power in art. Yeah, that's our patch and our hat. And it's just, it's not like my name isn't on it. It's just hopefully symbols that people will be comfortable wearing. And we're gonna give some stuff away as well.
Great. Looking forward. Hope to be there. Great. Looking forward to it.
Good to see you. Yes.
Yep. Howie?
Howie, you're on
muted,
mute.
Howie.
Hey, you're on
muted.
mute still.
He's in Nick's La La Land still.
Oh yeah, that was
He-
we were in New York that night. It was so energetic, man. That was crazy.
Wait,
It's crazy.
Nancy Bar starts on July 1st. 6 to 8 is the reception opening.
Yeah.
Sorry, somebody was asking details.
Um,
You can see it right behind Stan there.
so 7 to 9 is the.
Oh, I'm sorry. It says 6 to 8 there behind
Yeah,
Stan, but okay.
that's an old
Okay,
one.
Oh,
sorry,
no, all
sorry.
right, 7 to 9.
7 to 9, Nancy.
Well, we can line up at 6, like you like lines, so.
Yeah.
There you go.
So if Ron, send us the information. We want to promote it and
Yes.
put it out there when, whatever I could do. And obviously, first and foremost, I want to thank you for doing this. It's been incredible. It was so eye-opening, and you're a phenomenal guy. You've done so much for the community, for us musically, and we're really excited about your art thing, and we are going to come out and support you. We
Thank you.
definitely going to make it we're going to try to make this a spring nut outing. So
Well, there's
to
a
come.
piano there, so who knows? We might do some songs too. And I'm gonna actually have music. I'm gonna score music for the night, so it'll be you hear a lot of my scoring music during it. But I appreciate. Please come out, support the
We
community,
want to.
support the gallery. I really want to help the gallery out. It's just a little nonprofit. So, and Atlantic Highlands is charming. There's some great restaurants. I'll send you a couple. So you can tell everybody. Strada is one of the best Italian restaurants in the world is there. There's a great Thai place, and there's oh, actually, I have food at the come eat. We're having food and champagne, so
We're
Nice.
coming to support you, and we're going to support the gallery. That's what we're about. And I want to thank you for doing this. Especially, we also got it together in one day.
yeah, yeah. Sorry about that.
No. It's
Well, you
great.
did-
I've been looking to get you on the show for one. I know you've been really busy, and even Melissa just told me that you did something with her today. For the center, and it's great. And I'm very happy for you. You deserve it.
Thank
You
you.
deserve all the accolades, and we're here. We're happy to support you. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, guys. All
All
right, we'll
right.
see you at the
Thanks,
opening.
Ron.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, Ron.
Be good.
Wednesday, July 1st. Yes.
7 to
7
9.
p.m.
Yeah, and then the fireworks in Atlantic Highlands is on the 2nd, by the way.
Okay.
So it's a good spot to see it. And the film festival is on the 18th. I'll send you all the information.
Yeah,
Great.
send me everything, and we're gonna put it out there, brother.
All right, cool. See
Thank you,
y'all.
Ron. Thank
Thanks,
you so
Ron.
much.
Thank you.
Rock.
Nice. Very nice. Wow. Yeah, Ryan, I liked when you were showing all the paintings. I didn't realize the variety of them there, and
Yeah, there
very
was
very interesting characters, and yeah, very.
It was very like I said, I'm a very process guy. I love watching the process of everything. And he was a big part of like watching him I didn't know how involved he was. Like I think he producer, yes, and whatever, but he's very, very involved in what Bruce does when he makes these records. And you know, I didn't say this, but I'm just saying that it's amazing, how much Bruce puts into him to let him ride on what he does. You know what I mean? So,
I
and
love it. It's a huge dichotomy. You got Stevie
right,
up in his grill all the
right.
time when he was a producer. And Ron's just kind of like, I'm gonna let him. He said it like I'm gonna stand back. I'm gonna let him do his thing, and I'll do what I need to do and let him have his space. So it's
Yep.
just a totally different work environment.
He laughed when you mentioned Stick. I guess he saw the
Stick.
documentary, so he knew
Stick.
like how difficult Bruce was to work with and what it is now. Where that's why he laughed. Yeah, like so it's a totally different Bruce these days. They had what Letter to You 5 days booked, and they did it in 4. Whereas as Gary Talent said at the Springsteen the Born to Run symposium, they were just in there and in there and in there and in there in the studio over and over and over.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love Gary in that documentary. It's like everybody talked about all the different sounds and how long it took to do, and Gary's just like, really? It's just kind of sad.
Forever. He made a comment. I just remember being there forever. Yeah. So
No,
very
very
nice.
interesting. For anybody that's in that area, I would highly suggest you go check out the exhibit and get a little taste of art. See Ron doing a whole different side
Yeah,
of
and
himself.
he's gonna have posters that'll sign for sale. Like I didn't know that. I learned something new. I didn't know he did the posters. So that's really cool to have it signed by him, and maybe some for charity signed by him and Bruce too. Or
If that painting that he gave the exhibit is 10 feet wide, I mean that's a big piece of wall space.
yeah,
Stan, next time you're there, let me know where
I
that's
will.
at.
I'll look for it. I'll look for it. So,
Howie, we have not talked since the serenade. Any final thoughts? I mean, I know you did your wrap up, but
Well, we're
can I just
close.
let me say this: the Funky Mofos. Oh my God, dude! Like they were having a great time. Obviously, the tour was over. They're letting it out, but they are so incredibly talented. And I'm not talking about I mean, the three guys were fantastic, but the band that they had was fantastic.
Absolutely.
That was stunning. Like I could not believe how good they were.
You see everything on paper, when I've been, and I've been, like I said, I've been engrossed in it every day, and but even for me, when I was standing on the side, it was very surreal, because I'm seeing everything that we put into it, now happen, and now actually become live. And one of the things that I was like, I was just like in awe of. I was like, yeah. So the Mofos are playing, the band's kicking in, and I thought it was a great addition, and it was different from the past serenades we did. But then I was just watching and I'm thinking, okay, now Danny Clinch goes up there and, wasn't in the plans. I know we didn't discuss it. And all of a sudden Danny Clinch goes up and he's playing the harmonica with them. And then Michelle Moore standing next to them with Coach, and she's very, humble and whatever. And, she's, I knew she was coming, but, again, she's trying to not get in the way. I'm like, no, no, no. We would love to have you up there. Just go. And then to have her up there, and it was just like unfolding in front of our eyes, like how and you see the crowd and you see everyone having a great time and eating it up, and yeah, I mean, listen, I obviously spoke with the Mofos after the thing, and they were so overwhelmed and overjoyed about how,
Oh no.
again, this is not, it's just like, it's just like they didn't think they would get the love. They would know they'd get appreciated, but the love that they felt that they them and for what they were doing was incredible. And obviously, you know, I was happy for not just for Stevie and Maureen coming, because listen, I have a personal, you know,
Howie, you're
love for
breaking
them,
up.
and
Your battery might
and
be low, Howie. You're breaking up.
No, it's
not
not his
my
battery. It's
battery, it's
his
my
Wi-Fi.
internet connection.
Oh,
It
okay.
sucks.
Yeah,
And it's my internet. I'm sorry.
that's all right.
But I was happy to see Vinny get his due. Can you hear me, or am I still breaking up?
You're okay right
You're
now.
you're breaking up a little bit, but we can basically
You're
hear
okay.
you.
You're
Yeah.
okay now. You're okay now.
Oh yeah, so I was happy to see Vinny get his due, and I was happy to see now what.
Nothing. Like the minute I said you're okay now,
And
then you like
also,
waffled for a
Gross.
minute, but you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
yeah, I can't help it. I have to
You're
figure
good.
that out. But anyway, I was very happy. The one thing I will say that we haven't announced yet, and we will be announcing the charity totals in the next week. Why Hunger is, finishing everything off. It's a, I mean, we know around double, again, another credible achievement for the group and what they've done. I'm very proud of the whole thing. How it all turned out. It was a great weekend. It really, other than that, all I can say is, looking forward to see what the next year brings. I'm happy we're doing these cafes. We have some great guests that, we're lining up, continuing, you know, hopefully we'll have some more information on that in the next week or so. And yeah, another great show tonight, guys. You guys were great as usual. Um, Julie had a prior commitment, unfortunately, and I can't hear you. So you're muted, Ryan. Sorry.
Sorry, I was gonna text you and be like, because he kind of went off on the art side of it, and I was just like, well, let's skip the normal setup that we have and just kind of roll with it.
Oh,
So we
that's
just
fine.
we kind of
It's
rolled with
always
it.
about that. Yeah, so if they feel comfortable, listen, I always said when I was doing this, again, the original idea for this thing was, if we got a half an hour out of our guests, I thought that was, win. And now, and now it's like when you're getting some, everyone's like an hour just to get the scratch. You would think like some of these guests would say, "Okay, I gotta go." They don't. They could go on for another hour if they wanted to. I know that, and I see the messages from them after the fact and how they don't know what to expect going in. I mean, they do podcasts and do things like that, but Whispering Nuts and it's a different thing and it's a fan based thing, and then but they're always very impressed on how you guys are, manning the ship and how you're making them feel comfortable and they enjoy it. And that's the main thing. If they're enjoying it, that's the win, right? There's that, they're getting the message out, they're getting the story out. Yes, there's a Bruce connection to it, but they feel important and they feel good and that's a testament to you guys. So, you know,
Well,
I will say again,
we let them
kudos.
talk. We don't interrupt them. We let them talk and what they want to say. And I listen to other podcasts and you do, and you see sometimes they just interrupt. Hey, Bono interrupted Bruce the other day, Saturday. Yeah. Bruce was in the middle of answering a question and Bono interjected and just changed Bruce's train of thought. So, yeah, I think
Let him
that's the
talk.
key.
Let him
We
talk.
let them talk. And most of our people have been good talkers. And that's not a criticism. That's a compliment that, we make them comfortable. Yep.
My two biggest compliments for us, like we every guest we've had has been very open, honest, humble, down to earth, talkative. But the fact that Hank Azaria, like his manager said, what he'll give you 45 minutes. We talked for like an hour and 15 minutes. I think he was just enjoying talking to other Bruce fans. But then when
No,
Zane said that night that he left John's house looking at priceless art to come do our thing, I was like, okay, okay, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
well, when he said just now, Ronnie said, "Well, Bruce is gonna come look at my art." I said, "Okay, well, wait. We have nowhere to go. Take your time. Don't mind us. Just keep the camera going."
Yeah.
Listen, it's very fun, and these guests are, they're in that world, so it's great to have them on. It's an honor to have them. You know what I mean? And we're gonna have a bunch of other guests in that realm coming up too. So stay tuned. You know, we're working hard.
Good.
Hey, Howie, real quick, when you are texting with Ron about the stuff, Bev said this earlier. I think it'd be a great idea. Maybe just ask him if he's thinking about selling a print of what he donated to the center, just to see like if he's even thinking about that. Like maybe he doesn't even know, but I think there'd be a lot of interest in people buying prints of that
I think
piece.
you could tell from the interview, by the way, now that you're saying that, that he is not like, he obviously is not a social media guy, so to speak, so he doesn't see the responses, right? So like he needs to be sort of, you may want to do this, you may want to do that, because we are in social media and we see what the response is. So I'll definitely mention it to him.
Yeah, it's funny. Like he's so busy with all of his stuff that he doesn't have time for like all the nonsense of paying attention to that. Some of them
Yeah.
do. Some of them like pay attention all the time. But a guy like him, he's busy all the time. Shit, he's working with Bruce all the time. He's painting. But
Yeah,
he had
for all the
he had
work he does,
9.
he's got a lot of paintings. So that's what I was impressed with. Just he's busy doing with his music stuff, but those paintings take a long time, I'm sure too. So it's like, wow, you know.
All right. Well,
All right,
go
It's funny.
Knicks. Go
I'm not
Knicks.
so next, Yankees are up big tonight.
the Knicks. The Knicks went.
We
The Knicks
we
are
want
gone.
we want a live report from Howie at the Knicks parade
Wait,
on
is the parade
Thursday.
gonna go up like Fifth
Yeah.
Avenue or what is
No, it's called the Canyon of Heroes. It's Lower Manhattan. It's really not all that long, maybe half mile, maybe a mile.
only
at the
10
Like
most.
blocks.
down by the
10
village,
blocks.
down by
No,
Wall
way,
Street.
way south, like where the World Trade Center was.
Oh
It's
shit.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, up to City Hall. So it starts with the Battery and goes up to City Hall, but it's all Lower Manhattan, below
Yeah.
Greenwich Village, even below there.
Try to find 3 million, 4 million in 10 blocks.
Yeah,
It's gonna be crazy. If I,
Yeah.
I'm gonna call for SOS. That is a real SOS. Someone come and lift me,
Airlift me out of here.
That's right. If I'm giving an SOS, that's a real one. Get me out of there.
all right. Good night. I'm tired. We're all
All
we're
right,
probably
guys.
tired.
Thanks for
Thanks.
joining us.
Thanks. This was
Stan,
fun.
Stan, do I need to ask Melissa to get you a chair for your
No,
volunteer
don't do
days?
that. That makes me sound like I'm handicapped.
I
So
know. I'm
yeah,
kidding. I'm
yeah,
kidding. I'm
no.
kidding.
I saw Melissa today though a few times. I saw Eileen.
Seriously.
I saw Bob Santelli. So
Seriously, it's like the Seinfeld episode. You need a chair by the door.
yeah. Well, just standing for like 4 hours. It's like I don't know. A Bruce Pitt is a little different, but you stand. But it's interesting. I look forward to meeting a lot of people and having fun.
Wait, did anybody walk in the seriously? Did anybody walk in the door and be like, "Is that Stan? Are you
No,
Stan?"
no,
Okay, I'm sure you will get that from time to time. Are you
no,
Stan
no, no.
Goldstein?
No, although they have people introduce the movie. So I may be doing some of that where you're supposed to say, "Hi, I'm Stan," and just welcome to the center. And here's a movie. I've seen the movie 3 times now. It's so good. I'm still
It is
picking
good.
up from it. Yeah, it is good.
I jumped up out of my seat the first time I watched it. Like it was like I wanted to jump up. So they didn't. It's just the movie now. They didn't do the montage of the band,
No,
right?
but
You
you know
didn't
what
see
they
any
have
exhibits.
when you enter the theater to the far left, they have clips from American Music Honors from all the years. They show the
Hmm,
films rotating, and it's
nice.
so I got to see Jackson Brown and Mellencamp today. Stuff. It was pretty cool just to
So
see that.
each year is on a loop.
Yeah, and I think it's on all 4 years are on one loop, so it probably runs 8 hours. But it's professionally shot. It's different camera angles and everything.
Wait,
So
where is this? This is like when you walk into the lobby?
well, if you're facing the theater, the
Yeah.
far left, all the way down by the window.
Hmm.
There's 2 entrances to the theater. The far left entrance, if you're facing it, and there's a whole thing American Music Honors
And you
where
can
they
just stand there
play.
and watch it as long as you
Yeah,
want
and
to.
they have the list of the people who've been inducted over the years.
Interesting. Well,
Yep.
all right.
All right.
Well, have a good night, guys.
All right. Good night. Thank you, Howie.
See you, Stan.
Before you go,
Yes.
before you go, so I just got an email from Ron.
Yeah.
Thank you, Howie. That was a ton of fun. Very thoughtful questions. I enjoyed myself. Please tell Ryan and Stan for me. Ron.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you. We
Okay.
take
Nice.
pride in what we
Thank
do.
you. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
See? I don't lie. I don't lie.
No, that's
But
all right.
that
We let them have their
usually,
priorities.
sometimes they don't, like I said, they don't know what to expect,
Right.
and they just think fan group.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they see the professionalism of what we're doing here.
Mhm.
So great job, guys.
Right. All right.
Thank you.
And thank
Thank
you
you.
guys
All right. Good night. All right.
that
Bye
were
bye.
with us.
Bye.
Howie, you froze again, buddy. Shit. All right. Everybody have a good night. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Everybody be well. That was great. Thank you to Ron Aniello for his time. Very busy guy, but he gave us plenty of time, so thank you. Sorry we tried to ask as many questions as we could, as usual, and we'll still let them talk, so thank you. If we didn't ask your questions, we do the best we can. All right. Thank you to Stan and Howie and Blue. You're a little chatty there during that conversation, but that was my fault. I did not close the front door. You were a little chatty. That's okay. All right, everybody be well, be safe, take care. We will see you on the next episode of the Spring Nut Cafe. Who will the next guest be? Who will it be, Blue? Who do you think? Hmm? All right, have a good night.